Hi friends, welcome back to Fiona's Universe. Today's video is heavily inspired by Anna New, and I love her. She's one of my favorite authortube creators. I have a sneaking suspicion that my mic is not correct, and I also just kissed it by accident. If it's really bad, I will apologize to you right now on the screen. But the camera really would like to zoom in on my panda back there. This is off to a great start, but in today's video we are going to be talking about all the writing I did in 2024, so my 2024 writing wrapped or recap. I'm going to start off with some general stats to get us rolling here today. I do not even close to know the number of words that I wrote this year, but when I tell you the completed works that I did finish, I'll tell you the word counts for those. I did a lot of writing outside of tracked words, so it would honestly be impossible to know, but if you really want to, you can add up these numbers and then know that there's probably about 100,000 words that were not contributed to those totals. But that's besides the point. Let's get started. So I wrote 3 books this year. I finished 3 books this year, and I'm really proud of that. It's my biggest writing year ever, for sure. Ow. Why? For reference, last year I completed 2 books and then had a lot of other whips going on. And the 2 books that I did complete, Partial Stars and Saturn Sun, had been ongoing for years and years. So this year I started and finished 3 entire books, and I started many more, but we'll get into that. I'm sure you're wondering what those 3 books were, and I did talk about them in the explaining all my books video, which now needs to be updated because obviously I've come up with so many new books since then, but that is besides the point. The 3 books that I wrote this year were, in order, Something Nameless, the first book in the Nameless series, A Girl Called Love, and then Below. That's supposed to be 3. Sorry, my fingers don't work. 3 books. Below is the first book in the Project / series, and I did it recently for NaNoWriMo. You can watch me finish the book. It was a lot of fun. As for timeline, throughout the year I really never wasn't writing, which is really good for me. I used writing a lot as a means of articulating my feelings this year and dealing with a lot of things that I had gone through last year. So it was a really good resource for me, and obviously it's my passion, so I did a whole lot of it. I came up with 9 new book ideas. 9, all of which were books that I finished this year. Like the 3 books I had come up with this very year, so it was new material. I queried 1 book, which we'll get into, and we'll talk about the future of that a little bit. And I worked on a project all year that I've never told you guys about, actually, because it's just a very personal thing for me, and I actually managed to keep it up the entire year, so that was impressive for me. It's essentially like a prose memoir type thing about me dealing with like heartbreak, I guess. So it was from January until now. You can kind of see the ups and downs of that. It was a lot. It was a lot. I read it the other night and I was sobbing. We'll talk more about that eventually, but for now let's talk about the 3 books that I wrote this year and my favorites of the year. This is going to be the part that is very inspired by Anna New, so if you've seen her video, if you haven't, I would recommend watching it and checking her out. But I am gonna say what my favorite book of the year was. A lot of you probably already know what it was, and I'm counting whips for this too because I worked on a lot of whips, but you know it's gonna be one of my completed projects, and it is A Girl Called Love. As we all know, if you've been on my channel before, like, I can't get enough of this book. I can't stop talking about it, and I don't think it will be a fan favorite for me, like, in my audience necessarily. I think people will love it and really resonate with it, but I don't think it's gonna surpass, like, some of my fantastical projects or my dystopians or anything. But for me, A Girl Called Love, it's just like, I wrote it for myself, and the process of it was just beautiful. I wrote 7K in a day for that book. I was writing like beyond 2,000 words a day to get that book done, and it ended up being done in like a month's time. It was just wonderful. I'm gonna sneak 1 stat in there that I forgot, and it was the word counts for these projects. A Girl Called Love is, I don't know, 78K, and then below is about 75k right now. I just finished it for NaNoWriMo. And then the longest book I wrote this year was Something Nameless with 100k words, and that was a really big goal. I don't know if it's 100k, it's a bit over 100k at this point because I've been revising it, but I wrote 100k in a month, and that was an all-time high for me. It might have been like a few days more than a month, but it was March 100k, and that was like an extreme thing for me. And also, as I'm talking about all these books, I love them all. Like, they're all probably some of my favorite projects I've ever done. They are, I think, my 3 favorite projects I've ever done, so there's nothing against the other 2 or anything, or any of my other books, but like A Girl Called Love for some reason just really sticks with me, and I've reread it so many times. Like, I just can't get enough of it, and I have like a very addictive quality towards it, so who knows if you'll ever see it, but you'll certainly see the other 2. They're gonna be my major like works as an author, I think, because they're series. But anyway, let's get into more favorites. My favorite characters, I'm actually gonna pull up my main characters Pinterest board for this because I have a lot, so I gotta get my thoughts straight. The first 2 obviously have to be Callias and Love from A Girl Called Love. Love is like the best, not the best main character I've ever written, but like one of my favorites. She's very distinct, she is so whimsical, she's so unique. I love her so much. She is literally the part of me that's like sweet and will forever be innocent and forever be mystical, magical, daydreamer, gorgeous. And then Callias is like the most caring person in the entire world, and very like intense with his passions. Like, oh my goodness, that's all I'm gonna say about him. That's all I'm gonna say about him. Another one of my favorite book boyfriends of my own this year was Riven from the Nameless series. He is fan casted. Hayden Christensen, if you know anything about me, my favorite celebrity of all time, Hayden Christensen. Well, not my favorite celebrity. My favorite celebrity is Emma Watson, but my favorite like celebrity crush, I guess you could say, is Hayden Christensen. And Riven is very intense again, and very like grumpy, but like intent on like getting his goals done. And he's also gone through a lot, as have all my main characters. So I really feel for him. And also I just really love the words that come out of his mouth. Everything is so intricately thought out that these characters say. For me this year, like the male main characters, again, I'm gonna say Lord, favorite character of the year, again, one of. He is just very like intentional. I wrote him very intentionally. Every little aspect of him, including his like tattoos, his style, his eyeliner that he wears, is very like indicative of his like soul. And he's like this warden, so he's a very feared character amongst like the society, and in reality he's an artist, and he is very passionate, and he wants to see the world beyond that he doesn't even know exists yet. And I love him. He's a dreamer, but he's also like grumpy and you know. Also from below there's Flint, and he hasn't been explored a whole lot. Like, he is explored, but his character is gonna go even further in the next 2 books. And he is an engineer, and he's very crafty, and the fan cast for him is West from The Next Step. So he really was just like healing my inner child there, because he kind of acts like West. He also is like Theodore not coded, so I don't know if you know what that means, but like if you do, you do. And I love him. He's so funny and so smart, and he does crazy things to help them, and it's just so interesting to read and to watch him do. So yeah, I'm not gonna say anything more about that, but like just get ready for Flint to make his appearance. From A Girl Called Love, Cherry Van Doren, Chloe Van Doren, that's her real name, but she was so fun to write. She's like this New York girl, like nepo baby basically, and she's so funny and so like intense. She's Pansy Parkinson coded, so again, can you tell where I get my inspiration from? From my fanfics. But anyway, we love Cherry. She's so cool. She owns a fashion company called CVD, and I'm obsessed with her. Last but not least, we have the character I am dressed as today, and that is Nyla Thorne. She is the... I can't say too much about it because I'll spoil the whole book, but she's a real girl from the Nameless series. She's just like you and I. I can't say too much about that though. And she wears a Beatles shirt often because it's her deceased father's shirt. And I bought this shirt for her. She's very complicated. That's a word for Nyla. She's got a lot of dark things going on in here. Not unlike myself. But she like has severe struggles. And yet she is able to be so like creative and understand herself really well and embrace that side of her, which I really love. And she is gonna have a very intense character arc in the second book, which I've been putting off writing because I know I'm gonna cry like a baby. We're now gonna move into favorite lines I wrote this year, and these are not necessarily from the 3 books I've been mostly talking about. There are gonna be some, obviously, but I also just write random quotes in my notes app, in my random quotes that come to me throughout the day section, and then also from that secret project. It's not ever really going to be published, I don't think, although I'll post about it on like here and TikTok because you guys are my best friends and it deals with a lot of trauma, so don't really know if I'm ready to share that with like the whole world. But there is genuinely no way I could get all my favorite lines I wrote into this video because I will forget some and they're everywhere, so like just bear with me while I show you like a lot of them, but not all. For instance, this is one from my notes app. It doesn't belong to anything except for probably the prose book I'm coming out with next year, but let's read it. You don't have the stomach for a girl like me. You don't have the mind. You don't have the soul. You don't have the depth for a girl so close to the universe she is practically made of stars. Yeah. This one is from that like secret notes app thing that I was doing. I am made of pain. I can't seem to shake it. It's back full force. I want to cry and cry until my ribs split open and slice me in half. I couldn't stop these tears if I wanted to. And God, I want to. Oh wow, okay, pretentious. Okay, emotional. No, but I stand by all of that. Sometimes I do still feel like I want my ribs to slice me in half. Here's one more. This will be the last one, I promise. I can't hear myself, and normally I can hear myself. Give me a minute. I changed some settings. Hopefully that did something. I'm sorry. Okay, here we go. I had a dream about my best friend last night. She was holding me while I screamed and cried for you. In this world, I would never cause such a scene over you, but there, in the realm of exuding trapped emotions, I screamed, asking the universe why you don't love me back. The thing is, I don't think I love you anymore. Maybe I never did. So real. So real. And that dream is also real. I did have that dream. I want to talk about it, okay? From below, we have, it felt dehumanizing, but it was perhaps the most human thing I had ever done. That one is from their first kiss scene. And it feels dehumanizing because it's her enemy and she's been afraid of him for years, but she can't help it anymore. And that's really what is encapsulated in that. Here's another Lord quote. I guess that wasn't a Lord quote, that was a June quote, but who cares? You are an object of great allure to me, June of Nether. Okay, my grandma's here. Okay, I was gone for a while seeing my grandma and eating cheese and crackers because I was hungry and I didn't eat anything yet today. So I'm back and my lipstick's probably different, but I don't really care. Let's get back into lines. I don't think it's really possible for me to choose from A Rope Called Love, but one of my favorites is when Callias says, "The world is yours. I can't wait to see what you do with it." That was pretty good. Oh, also, hello, my name is Love, and yours is Callias Van Doren. She just introduces him to herself, essentially, because she already knows who he is. Ooh, this one's good, too. But then Love smiled. You're a very special person, Callias Van Doren. And you, Love, are specialness in human form, I murmured. Deceased. That's all for, like, lines for now. That's all I'm gonna do for lines. But for scenes, I would say my favorite scenes I wrote this year were, oh boy, it's hard to decide. Probably the prison break scene from Something Nameless, and then from A Girl Called Love, I can't say what it is because it would spoil a lot of the book. From Below, definitely the gala scene because there's a lot of good romance moments in there, and with the friends that become a really important part of the book series. and that scene was just really powerful. I was very proud of it. And then from A Girl Called Love, again, I gotta think of one that's not gonna spoil everything. There's a scene where they make a little deal, and Love's end of the deal is she really wants to make dinner for him for some reason and have dinner, just the two of them. And that scene is real good. Not for any like bad, naughty reason, just because it's like I love food, so I love to include cooking and stuff, and Love loves to cook, so it's perfect. I'm gonna do a few rapid fire songs that really got me through like writing these books and inspired me and stuff. So for Below, definitely anything from Sleep Token. Shout out to you, Ree. If you're watching this, I don't think you are. My friend Ree, she introduced me to a lot of really good artists, and Sleep Token was one of them. Specifically Take Me Back to Eden, and for Below, The Summoning, because it literally talks about the sky above and the earth below. Okay. And rain. And then the one that encapsulates this one scene so well, where she's been sent to assassinate him, is Rule Number 34. That song is very spicy. We're gonna go with. For Something Nameless, we have the How to Train Your Dragon theme. Yeah, that was the first song on my Spotify Wrapped. Not like in top songs of the year, but like that played while I was watching my Spotify Wrapped. And then Never Let Me Go by Florence and the Machine. Florence and the Machine has a lot of good ones. And Remain Nameless. Duh. Music was not a really big part of me writing A Girl Called Love, but the song Blue by Billie Eilish came out around the same time that I was writing it, and it really resonated for Callias and Love, so that one is really good. And then same with The Diner. And then, oh yeah, the one that inspired it all, I think it's called The End of Love. Let me find it. Yeah, The End of Love by Florence and the Machine. So that is some songs. Let's get a little bit into publication. I'm not going to talk too much about it because I'll make a whole video about it someday, but I was traditionally publishing one of my books, Partial Stars, at the beginning of this year in January. It was set to come out about right now in December, and clearly it's not, because essentially I got ghosted by the publishing company. But yeah, if we're gonna talk about trajectory of the year, we started on a real high. But it didn't work out, and I believe that the universe meant for it to be that way. I'll get into that story later, but that was essentially what I was busy doing in January, was meetings and signing things and panicking. If you can hear video, I'm so sorry about that. But then in February, I started writing and scheming for Something Nameless. I plotted it in February, and then I wrote it in March. And then I think in April, I started scheming A Girl Called Love. I think I finished it in June. I finished it right before I started working in the summer. And in between those two books, I was writing Project Ring and potentially others. I don't know, but I started Below in July while I was working full-time, and I finished it in November. So that was a little bit of what I did in terms of timeline. I also wrote Forenamed, the novella for, well, the first novella for the Nameless series. I wrote that one in April, right after the first book. And then I got the idea for Project Princess, which I plotted in a video. I got the idea for Quote the Living. I got the idea for An Ode to Amity, which I haven't talked about yet. I got the idea for Righting Wrongs, which I haven't talked about yet. I also wrote about 20,000 words of Nameless Souls, the second book in the Nameless series, probably around summertime, I would guess. But yeah, a lot of progress this year. Very proud of myself. In terms of my publication goals for next year, again, I kind of just want to focus on mood writing at this point, and by the time I'm ready to embrace my career as an author, I'll have all these incredible books to put out for you guys. But I am in the process of trying to trad publish / hybrid publish Something Nameless. So I revised the entire thing in about October, I think, and I still have a couple chapters left. But I'm gonna send it to beta readers soon, and then I will send it to publishing houses directly. I don't think I'm gonna try and get agented because I've heard bad things and I've experienced bad things. I've also experienced bad things with the trad publishing houses though, so we'll see how it goes. I'm gonna document it all for you, don't you worry. And then also my goal for next year would be to self-publish a couple works, but I'm only going to be self-publishing short fiction most likely. Short fiction or shelved works that I have that I don't want to trad publish, like Partial Stars, which I wrote when I was 15. A lot of you have read Partial Stars because you've been along on this journey with me for a while, but that was the one that was going to be traditionally published this year. I still think it should have been, but I don't know why that worked out the way it did. I'm going to learn someday, but it does need to be out there. I think I put too many years of my life into that book for it not to be seen. So I think I'm gonna maybe self-publish it next year. Get ready. And then along those same lines with short fiction, like I said, Partial Stars is a novel, but whatever. Prose book. And then a short story collection maybe by the end of the year. Should we do goals for next year? Does that like ruin the whole recap vibe? I don't care. This is my YouTube channel. This is my YouTube channel. So I think for next year I'm gonna write, hear me out, I'm gonna focus on writing Nameless Souls, book 2 of the Nameless series, Above, second book in the Project /Last series, and then other passion projects such as Writing Wrongs, which is gonna be about a writer like me, a young writer, and experiencing a sort of rush of popularity and then being deceived by her editor. And then an ode to Amity as well, which is one that I had a lightning moment for. I had lightning moments for both of those like a couple days ago, and it's gonna be a very mental health oriented book that I feel like needs to be done. So there you go. I also will probably write Project Princess or start Project Princess, and then we'll see if I get to any of my other whips. I don't really plan on it at this point, but that's what we're thinking. You guys can probably hear Vidya screaming through this entire video. I'm so sorry. To sort of reflect and finish this video off, I think this year I really used writing as an escape, and I also got a lot better at mastering writing, and I can confidently say that I'm a good writer and I am an experienced writer. So that's really nice because I'm obviously very young, so, well, maybe not obviously. I'm 19, but I am very proud to have 11 finished books at this age and to have so many more that I can't wait to get to. Other than that, I would say I have learned that persistence is the key to getting completed projects and doing so quickly. I made a whole video of how to write a book in a month. It is for NaNoWriMo, but like you can do it, as you can see from my year, whenever you want. Like I wrote 100,000 words in a month using those strategies, so take that as you will. These baby hairs are really bothering me. I want to rip them all out of my head. Also, a goal would be to keep doing authortube because I've been wanting to do this forever, and honestly, like, I used to make videos for it while making my like Redbubble and small business videos, and I would just not really see it picked up, you know, by many viewers. But now I just decided I don't care, and I make it for the people who watch and enjoy it and educate people and help as much as I can, because as an experienced writer I want to be giving back. That sounds so stupid because I'm literally just giving you guys advice and stuff and my experiences, but I want to continue being fully transparent, showing you my journey, showing you all my projects, about them, making you fall in love with them alongside me, and that's another major goal. I hope to continue growing on here and keeping up with it all year. With all of that being said, that was the 2024, I keep wanting to say 2025, 2024 writing recap or wrapped or whatever you want to call it. I had a lot of fun filming this and reminiscing on all my work I did this year. On top of all of that, I wrote a lot for my English literature creative and professional writing degree, so we're not including any of that, but keep that in the back of your head. I did a lot this year. I learned a lot, and I'm happy with that. One final goal that I'm gonna leave you guys with today is that I am starting my editing business, and that is the most exciting thing for me ever because I've been wanting to do this for my entire life, but I'm finally at a point in my degree where I'm super like skilled, I think, in editing, and I have so much experience. And even with editing my own books for publication, I've done it twice now where I've been on submission and I have to revise the entire thing. I have wanted to be an editor for my whole life. I just want to work in literature. That's what I want to do. So on top of being an author and content creator, I really want to be an editor. So I hope that you will, if you ever write a book and you want to hopefully get it published, you will enlist my services. And I offer a very affordable, I would like to say, price compared to the market, 60 USD. And a lot of editors are trying to charge you like $600. So I thought we'll just do 60, not 600 or more, or you know, somewhere within that range. But I really want to help you guys, and I have a package where you can get inline comments, you can get chapter by chapter comments, and an editor's note with a whole bunch of things in it with developmental edits that I think could really improve your book. And there's a whole bunch more details in the description of the listing on Fiverr. So I do want to make my own website in the future for my editing company or business, but for now we're using Fiverr. I'm so excited about that. I've been wanting to do this genuinely. I've had the account since high school, so making my dreams come true. Thank you so much for watching, and I love you so much.